So right, yeah, so where were I? Yeah, so there I am, with my leg busted. And thinking, all right, well, we'll be getting me an ambulance before too long, all being well. And that were back in the day, of course, where you didn't have to wait more than about 10 minutes for an ambulance. Bloody hell, if it had been now, I'd still have been there following day. But any road up. So anyway, no, but they didn't call an ambulance. Would you believe? Nobody called an ambulance. And there were no mobile phones back then, you know, a note like that. But all 3 bikes had radios on them, you know what I mean? Nobody called an ambulance. But what they did call were local police. So local plod turns up in a Panda car, this PC in a Panda car. And I'm saying there's something wrong with my leg. So instructor says, right, can you waggle your toes? Well, I could, but every time I did, I could feel this clicking around my ankle, you know, that something's not right here. He said, no, if you can waggle your toes, it's all right, you've not broken. I'm thinking, I'm bloody sure I have, you know, on account of I can feel bones moving in my leg. But anyway, right, so driver at Panda car says, oh, I'll give you a lift at local hospital. There's a cottage hospital in nearby in a little town called Buxton Cottage Hospital. So he says, right, get in car. So I gets in this Panda car, Vauxhall Bellman. I don't know if you remember them, a Vauxhall Bellman. It were an old Astra with a boot on it. And this was local Derbyshire police car. So as it subsequently transpired, with my leg broken in 4 places, I'm being carted off in this minging little Panda car to a local cottage hospital in Buxton. So I get to the Buxton Cottage Hospital. It'll be about 11 o'clock in the morning, this. I get there and I get taken up to this side ward. There'll be about 7 or 8 other people in there, looking quite bemused. And nurse comes in and they cut my leathers off. Take my boots off and cut my leathers off. So I'm just left with uniform shirt, epaulets, and a tie, because you'd still to wear your tie back in them days. You'd to wear a normal police shirt, epaulets and tie under your motorcycle gear. Standards and all that. So they whips me boots off and my kets off, and I'm laid there, aren't I? With a bloody police officer from waist up and bloody from waist down, you know, with 1980s bloody beige coloured Y fronts with white piping. If you remember them. Oh my god, how ignominious it was. And everybody's looking on thinking, you know, what's this half naked copper doing here? And he rode up, so I had to wait then for about 20 minutes. And then next person that rocks up's duty inspector from Derbyshire. Right old fella, looked like should have retired 20 years ago. And he comes in, how do? And so first thing he does is, without saying much else really, is he breathalyses me. Now bear in mind I'm on an advanced police motorcycle course. I mean, I haven't had a drink for a month basically. But he breathalyses me 20 past 11 in the morning in front of everybody. He doesn't draw curtains round, bags me in front of everybody. And of course back then we were, in our force, we were using the electronic breath kits, the early electronic ones made by a company called Lion, and we were used to using them. But so I was a bit taken aback when he come out with original old bloody breathalyzer bag, you know, from 1960s. I thought, well, when was the last time you breathalyzed anybody, pal? You know, with bag. So he gives me a bag, he says, blow into that. And I thought, bloody hell, I don't know how. I've never had to do it. So anyway, I blows in bag. It's just a mouthpiece with a set of crystals behind it and then into the bag. So I blows into this here breathalyzer bag. And crystals don't turn green all the way, you know, they're absolutely zero negative result. And he gives me it back, he says, hey, our souvenir for you, it's negative. So just for Jake, because I haven't lost my sense of humour, I held it up and I showed it round ward, you know, and they're all still looking bemused. So the next thing he says is, well, bad news is you've broken your leg in 4 places just above the ankle, tib and fib, both. So I thought, oh, you do surprise me. He says, but they don't do legs here. Oh, really? No, they don't do legs here, mate. You're going to have to go to Stockport General Infirmary. Stockport General Infirmary. About half an hour's drive from here. So I thought, bloody marvellous. Anyway, at least I got in back of an ambulance this time. And I get in back of this bloody ambulance with this asthmatic war veteran that were in between bloody coughing fits, were trying to tell me about shooting Germans in Second World War. You know, it were absolutely bizarre. So I has all this. I has all this from him. Now he says to me, what do you do, lad? And I'm thinking, well, what's it look like I do? But by now, of course, they'd given me, instead, you know, because I couldn't go out in me underkecks, could I? But I've still got full uniform top on, tie, epaulette shirt, full business. So to protect my modesty, such as it was, they just wrapped a bloody sheet round me. And I looked like one of these bloody Moroccan rug sellers, you know what I mean? Looked even worse. So they put me in this, stuck me in back of this ambulance. Anyway, took me to Stockport General Infirmary. Took me in there. And young nurse, I remember, she was holding my hand and, you know, generally trying to make me feel better. And this time adrenaline was starting to wear off. My own natural adrenaline was starting to wear off. And it was starting to bloody hurt with my ankle, and it had swollen up to some tune. I said, oh, just waiting for the registrar to come and have a look at you. So anyway, a bit of time goes by, and then this fella in a white coat, this registrar, comes up to me, grabs hold of me left foot, so my left ankle that were broken, grabs hold of my left foot, lifts it up, puts it back down again, and says, oh no, I don't think the consultant will need to pin that, it'll be fine just to pot it up. And I got this smell. I don't know about you, if you've not had a drink for a long time, if anybody's been anywhere near a bit of beer, you can smell it a mile off, can't you? And this fellow, he'd obviously had a liquid lunch, this registrar, because he stank of beer. I'm not kidding you. So that inspired me with confidence, it really did. Oh, we don't need to pin this, it'll be fine. So I ends up getting a half pot on from my foot up to my knee. That's what I got. Which it subsequently transpired were nowhere near enough. It should have been a long pot, and that were put on subsequently when I got off back home following day at a less shall we say a hospital less inclined to allow its staff to go have lunch in Dog and Duck. So anyway, that's bye. So I'm laid there now with this half pot on, and I rings up division, back to division, saying, look, this is what's happened. I'm in Stockport General Hospital, or Stockport General Infirmary, and I've no means of getting home, and I've no trousers to boot, and so can somebody come and pick us up, please? So I thought, we'll ring you back. So anyway, they rings me back about 10 minutes later and said, no, there'll be nobody coming from here to pick you up. What we're going to do is we're going to get the local police to come and pick you up and bring you home. So I thought, all right, that's fair enough. So then about another 20 minutes later, these two Greater Manchester cops pitch up and say, oh, we've come to give you a lift. So I thought, oh, excellent. By now I'd had a jab in my backside of pethidine, so pain was starting to wear off quite nicely. So they said, yeah, we've come to give you a lift. So I thought, great. So they between them, they helped me with my full uniform from waist up, bloody like a walk-on part from a mucky film from waist down. So they walks me out, and lo and behold, what is the Greater Manchester Police Divisional traffic car but a Ford Capri 2.8 injection. And there's two of them, so I'm going in back. So with half a pot on, my leg broken in 4 places, I have to squeeze myself in back of the Capri. And I just gets myself comfortable, and I says, right lads, do you know me address? It's in Bradford. And they go, oh no, we're not taking you all the way home, we're just taking you to the to our divisional boundary, to the motorway, and then a motorway car's going to pick you up. I said, you kidding? I said, no, those are our instructions. So oh, bloody charming. So they takes me up to the motorway, M62, kicks me out, and I has to get in a motorway, Greater Manchester Police motorway Range Rover. Single crew, so at least I were able to sit in front seat with my skirt on and my full uniform. So I thought, this is superb, is this? So I said to him, well, this will be a bit more comfortable, won't it, pal, on way home to Bradford? Oh, no, I'm not taking you to Bradford. Well, what do you mean? no, I'm just taking you to next motorway post, and then my colleague will be taking you on to West Yorkshire. And by this time, Petherdine's wearing off, you know, so I'm not right impressed. So I thought, all right, fair enough. So he texts me, no more than about 15-20 minutes, he texts me. And at one of the services, we meets this other Greater Manchester Police motorway Range Rover. So I gets out of that and into this, you know, in front of all members of the public in car park, with my full uniform from waist up and my skirt on from waist down, and my bare legs, and a pair of bloody medical slippers that they've supplied me with. What a carry on. So so I gets in this other Range Rover, and he were a bit more of a reasonable person. So he says to me, all right, so you're in a lot of pain, lad, there, aren't you? I says, painkillers are starting to wear off. Are you taking me home? He says, no, I've just got instructions to take you to Artshead Moor, West Yorkshire boundary, and a West Yorkshire motorway car's going to pick you up there and take you home. So another change, you know. I thought, you're kidding. No, that's what we'll have to do. So anyway, I gets in, front seat, he sets off. And then, look at me. About 5 minutes in, he gets a message on radio about a prang down on one of the slip roads. And he goes to the job. He says, no, I've just got to go deal with this accident. I'm thinking, you're kidding. I mean, I'm half naked in police car. And I'm not kidding you. He rocks up, drives down slip road, parks up, hazards, blues and twos, everything on. Gets out to deal with this prank. Something or none, a bloody fender bender, something or no. Gets out to deal with this here prank. And I'm sat there in this Range Rover. And anybody looking at the car with me in, I look like a normal police passenger. You know, shirt, tie, epaulets. I thought, if anybody comes up to me here to ask for some advice or directions or out like that, they're going to look through the window, look at me and then look down and see I'm wearing a skirt and a pair of medical slippers. And it ain't going to do credibility at force much good, is it? I kid you not. I were absolutely praying that nobody came up and spoke to me. Fortunately, they didn't. Fortunately, not a lot of people have a habit of doing that on a motorway slip road, do they? But anyway, that didn't seem to make any difference at the time. So, and he rode up, so he gets back in and says, I've sorted that, no problem. He says, I'll take you home, you're obviously in pain, I'll take you home. I said, oh, thank you very much, I live at this address here. So he set off, and he was going to take me home, but as we came up to Artshead Moor, there were West Yorkshire Police for Granada motorway car coming the other way, and they radioed up. They had a thing called Car to Car on VHF. And he said, GMP Range Rover, have you got our motorcyclist? Yes, I have. Right, well, we're going to take him home. So anyway, so I transferred again into this here Ford Granada at Artshead Moor, and got taken home and got and got helped out by the two cops that were in that car into my mum and dad's house, where I immediately necked a 4-pack of Skoal. Because I was that traumatised. Honestly, you couldn't have bloody scripted it. Still can't believe it to this day. Anyway, I mean, back of all that, everybody got a slipper in, didn't they? Everybody got a slipper in on back of it. Division got a slipper in for sending me when I was so experienced. I got a slipper in for writing off newest motorcycle in police force, brand new, newest bike they had. And driving school got a slipper in for not like sending me home on week 1 at course when I was struggling. So everybody got a right slipper in. Oh, what a carry on. So yeah, duty of care and all that. I don't know, I suppose worst case scenario they could have said, tough kid, you better ring a member of your family to, you know, take you home. It's past your off duty time, it's not to do with us. But I did find out later on, it was my shift that were working at the Nick in Bradford, and just about all of them that could drive, when they heard about it, when the telex came through about the accident, said, oh, we'll go pick him up, no problem, we'll go pick him up. But they won't, you know, they won't let them. And I never did find out why that was, but I wasn't particularly impressed, I can tell you. But so at the time it was very, very disappointing indeed. But I can look back at it with with a little bit of levity, because if you wanted to sit down and write that scenario for a sitcom, you'd be hard-pressed, wouldn't you, to come out with that that coming together of circumstances. I've got to laugh looking back, although at the time It wasn't funny. And that was the end of my motorcycling career. But it was no bad thing. I mean, I nearly died. I did. I mean, 3 times in my 30-year police career, I've thought, this is it. I'm not going home. I'm going to be dead. The other 2 were different situations altogether. They were riot situations. Again, back in 1980s. This one, this was the 3rd occasion when I come really close to being wiped out by a 38-ton Arctic that missed me by about a foot. But anyway, that's the sketch. That was the end of my career. But like I say, it was no bad thing, because you know, if I'd have been 12 inches to the right when I came off of that bike, I'd have been history, basically. There you go. So then I had to go back to division with my tail between my legs and serve out my penance for a year or 2 before I got back into the traffic department, and that were on cars then. But that I never lost my interest in motorcycles. I were addicted. I were addicted then from day one. My old Yamaha XZ 550, loved it to bits until until I killed it, basically. It just shat itself one day, and that was the end of that. You know, there weren't a particularly robust motorcycle. You know, and the rest is history. Last bike I had when I was a serving cop were a Pan-European ST 1100, which is appropriate because I've got an ST 1300 now, as well as my Royal Enfields. Anyway, hope that tale, I hope it was of some entertainment value. Hope it's brought a little bit of levity into your day. It's absolutely true, 100%. I haven't embellished anything. It is 100% factual, and a matter of record somewhere down in the dusty archives, I'm sure. So yeah. Oh, and other good news is they didn't prosecute me for careless driving or riding without due care and attention. That would have been the cream on the cake, wouldn't it? Anyway, so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, please subscribe, feed them algorithms. And until the next time, ride safe, especially on right-hand bends. Be kind to one another, and I'll catch you on the next one. Toodle pip!